These are in listen-only mode.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It is about 10:03, so I believe we should probably get started with our webinar. Right now, we have about 35 of you on the webinar itself, so I did go ahead and mute everyone just because we tend to get a lot of feedback when there's that many agents signed into the webinar. So if you do have any questions, if you've noticed on that little tool bar access that's going to be over on the right-hand side of your screen for the webinar, there should be a chat function where you're going to be able to either ask questions or you can put your questions in the chat form. The other thing that you're going to be able to do definitely is you're always welcome to email me if you have any questions regarding anything that we went over today. So I am going to go ahead and get started. Again, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them into the chat field, or I believe that there is a question field for you as well. I will go ahead and start the webinar, and then if some of the questions that I see come in have any relevance to what we're actually going over at that time, I have no problem stopping and addressing those questions as we go. So a few of you have also asked if I will be recording the webinar. The short answer is yes, I always try. Sometimes we have technical difficulties with that, other times we don't. So as of right now, I believe we are recording. Anytime I record any of the webinars, I do upload them to YouTube, and I will give all of you access to that channel as well so that you can take a look at this webinar after it's recorded, as well as any of the other training webinars that we have on the YouTube channel already. So I am going to go ahead and get started. This webinar is going to cover your CBWM website that you already have, being an agent to CBWM, CBWMH. So the way that you access this website and go about editing it and customizing it and making it your own is by logging into Online Office. So that's going to be first and foremost. You can see the web address for Online Office at the very top of the screen, onlineoffice.cbwm.com. And that's how you're going to be able to log in to access all of the great things that Online Office has to offer. Your email address, your CBWM or CBWMH email address will be basically your username. And then if you do not remember your password, you're going to have to contact Kim or Allison in the marketing department so that they can reset your password for you. And you're going to be able to get into Online Office to do all the things that we're talking about today. So, okay, so once you are in Online Office, everyone's screen pretty much looks the same. Mine is going to look just a little bit different than yours just because I have an admin access and not an agent access. So the place that you will go about changing your CBWM website will be the same. You will access that area at the Administration tab at the very top of Online Office. Okay, now this is where it's going to look a little bit different than what yours will look like, but you want to still go in the same place, which is the Website Builder. Okay, so now I am in the Website Builder function of Online Office. So let me give you just a few tips that I like to do when I'm customizing my website, when I'm making any changes. One of the things that I like to do is keep one tab open, which I'm in Online Office right now, and then I like to have another tab open that's actually my website as I'm going along. Because any of the changes that you make in your website are basically instant, anytime you make a change, as long as you save that change by clicking the Save button in Online Office, you'll actually be able to go right to your website, click Refresh, and see all of the changes as you make them. I think that this is a great way to do things just because you might want to move things around a little bit. You don't want to work on things for an hour and then realize you don't like the way that they look. So make a few changes, refresh the website, and then go ahead and change things and refresh them as you go along. Okay, so the first page that I'm in right now, I'm just going to go ahead and follow the tabs as I go across. The first thing that you're going to see is the Set Your Look. This is pretty simple. Basically, do you want to have a square profile picture or a circle? And we've actually changed this a little bit from when we first started using Online Office. This has a little bit more of a social media Facebook kind of look to it. So basically you have all of these different choices that you can use that will have your profile picture in it. As you can see here is basically this is the current theme that I'm using right now. And then here's my background. So really this is going to just be kind of all about how you like it to look, what you want your background to be. It's really as simple as that. There really isn't any guidelines. Just use from the templates that we've provided to you. I will tell you that if you do not have a photo on your website, which most of you should have a photo, the photo in itself gets you 10 points towards your web score. So 10 points, have your photo in there, and that's going to be 10 points, towards keeping your web score bumped up. So really, that's all that you have to do in this tab. Choose your theme. Make sure your photo's there, square head or round head, whatever you want it to be, and then move on to the next tab. So the next tab that I'm going to go to is the Customize Your Settings. Now this is where it gets a little bit more in-depth, and a lot of people aren't sure if they put something in one of these fields, where is it actually showing up in your website? And that's what I'm going to answer for you today. So this is where it is very helpful to have another tab open, because I'm going to switch back and forth a few times so that you can see where on my website things are showing up. So let's just kind of go down the line. The first thing is my title, Director of Education and Recruiting. So what would you put there? Sales associate? Are you an associate broker? Do you specialize in relocation? Put something in the title that really is in regards to what you do for Coldwell Banker. I'm going to show you right here under my name on my website, your title is just going to show up under your name. So make sure you have something there. Now, the next options that you have, and this is a new feature with the new website, is actually being able to link to any of your social media sites. So when you're on any of your social media sites, you can see here is the extension is Coldwell Banker Wear Manual for the Facebook page that I've put in. So why did I do that? I personally obviously don't sell real estate. I don't have a Facebook business page, so I still would like to be able to link anyone that's on my Facebook page to, on my Coldwell Banker profile page to Facebook. So I've actually linked my Facebook to the company Facebook page. So if anyone clicks on this Facebook app, they're actually going to link to Coldwell Banker Wear Manual's Facebook page. Now the Twitter account, I did link up with my Twitter, and then LinkedIn, and then a few of the other ones. You don't have to put anything in these fields if you don't want to. If you don't put anything in these fields, you just won't have any of these little icons showing up here on your profile page. If you do, they'll show up. It's kind of as simple as that. So only put there what you want to share. If you simply want to link up to all of the Coldwell Banker pages, you can do that too. All you have to do is just go on to, let's say, Facebook or Twitter, search out Coldwell Banker Wear Manual and find out what the username is, and then go ahead and just put that into that field. So that is pretty much it for the social media sites. Pretty simple. The only other thing that I'm going to tell you is LinkedIn was a little bit difficult. You actually had to, if you were in LinkedIn first, you have to actually customize your link for LinkedIn. And I will send everybody that's on the webinar today, I will send you those instructions after the webinar is done so that you don't fumble around with that like I did when I first was trying to link my LinkedIn page to my Coldwell Banker page. Okay, the next option down here is the Text Me button to add to your contact panel. I think that this is a great feature. So what does this do if you activate this? Well, if someone is on your page, I'm going to go back to my profile page. If they click this button right here to text me, you're going to see a window pops up. They actually have the ability to put their first name, last name, phone number, and message. And then what this will do is it will send a text directly to your phone. So if any of you have been in some of the recent classes that we've had for Lead Router, we talk about the 5-minute rule a lot. So this is a great feature to be able to use. If you have the ability to contact them and to get in contact with them within 5 minutes of them inquiring on your page, you have a much higher likelihood of actually converting that lead into a sale later on down the road. So take advantage of this feature. The other nice thing that this does is even after it does send a text to your phone, it actually sends you an email as well. So you're going to be able to capture that lead in two places so that you don't lose any of that information. So definitely take advantage of the text me option in the contact panel. Okay, the search heading. Most people don't realize what this even is, and this is a really cool feature that's been added with the new website. So let me again go back to my website. Everyone has the search bar in their background photo of their website. You can see above it I have search for homes. I believe as a default you don't have any words there. I don't think that you have anything there unless you customize that field. So you can see right here, this is where I put that. So if I was selling, maybe I would put something along the lines of, let Robin find you your dream home, or search Robin's homes, or search Robin's listings. Everything is IDX'd from the MLS, so you have access, and your client or customers having access to all of those listings as well. So go ahead and customize that a little bit, make it look like it's your own, that you're providing that search for them. If you don't put anything there, you just won't have any words above your search bar. Okay, back up to the top. The title tag. Again, what is this? Where does this show up? All that this is if someone is on your website, and you got to kind of pay attention to my mouse here for a second. If I hover over my tab that's open, you can see it says Robin Walker, comma, Director of Education and Recruiting. So you can see that's what I've put in the title tag. So basically anything that you have here is what the tab is going to be titled on that person's browser when they have it open. Again, kind of a simple feature. You don't have to customize it if you don't want to, but why not have your name as many places as you possibly can so that they don't forget who you are. Okay, the next field that we have here is the meta description. So what this is actually just a very brief description that shows up in search results, for example, Google, underneath the actual web page when it's found. All of you should already have the default description in there. Go ahead and just leave that alone. Really not that big of a deal. It's already been customized based on words that are commonly searched for our company. So all of you should have something in this field as it stands. If you don't, let me know and we can go ahead and see what the issue is there. Okay, last few things on this tab. The add a link to another website. So what is this and where would this show up? You can see I don't have anything there. Some agents that have been in the business for a while may have potentially an old URL. Maybe it's, robinsells.com, robinsellsdreamhomes.com, whatever that URL or that domain is that you potentially used to own or you have still. If it's something that's still active and you want to share that website with others, this is where you would put that website address. On your actual website, if someone clicked the more contact info, this is where that additional website would show up for someone that clicked on that option. So if you put an additional website in, this is where it will show up on your website. And the last option for the target target audience. What this area is actually, if I drop down on it, you can see I have 3 different options besides the no specialty. Unless you 100% specialize in commercial, luxury, or just rental, I would leave this field alone. What this does is if I simply clicked on residential and said that I wanted my target audience to be residential only, now if someone is on my website and they're using this search field right here, it's going to restrict their results to rentals or rental properties and leases. So I would really recommend leaving this to no specialty, because then what that does is it allows anyone that uses the search function on your website to search all properties, whether they are leases, whether they are commercial or just residential. So I would really recommend leaving that to no specialty so that you can make sure that you get all possible leads and not just ones that are specific to commercial or or rentals. Okay, so that is really all of the different settings that is on your Customize Your Settings tab. Nothing that you put here really changes any of the point outcome for your web score. That really happens in the next tab when you're actually building your website. Okay, so here is the Build Your Homepage tab. This is the one that's going to take a little bit of time. This is probably the one area where people have questions as to how much do they need to put in this area, what kind of points am I going to get for completing this area, and a few of you have asked when you've logged into your online office where you have a, in the lower right-hand corner, you have a little snapshot as to where you are with your web score. Some of you have noticed some areas that are red now that never even existed before. I'm going to show you what those areas are and how they get you points. So basically what you need to remember is if you did any customizing of your website before we switched over to the new format, those areas migrated to this new layout. But there's a lot of other options now of things that you can add in your website to customize it even further. So you can see that I already have some sections built in my website. You can see right here it says wide column, and then there's the narrow column. So switching back to my website, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can see that anything I put in that wide column will show up here, and then anything for the narrow column shows up in this area over here. So when you're building your website, there are some things that are going to get you additional points. You can see that these are called modules. If I click on a module for the wide column, you can see here are my options for things that I can add to the wide column. I've got communities. That's a new feature. Communities, if you activate this communities module, this will give you an additional 2 points. So what is the communities module? If I click on that, you can see it's going to give me a snapshot as to how this will look on my website. I'd click next, and now it's asking me first and foremost, how do I want this to show up on my website? Do I want it to just be a list like this? Or if I click this option, do I want it to have the name of the city, a brief description, and a photo? I think that that's a better option only because it's a little more visual, gives you a little bit more of a description, and you can build it from there. Now, you always will have the option to actually customize these sections a little bit more should you want to. By default, this is going to be called the communities module. Maybe I would want this to say communities I serve. or maybe communities I service, or areas I work, whatever you want it to be. Put something in there to make it a little bit more descriptive for anyone that is on your website. It's also going to ask you how many cities you want to display. Now keep in mind, I'm going to move over to the Select Cities tab. There is already a database of all of the cities that you have to choose from. Don't worry about the neighborhood tabs. This is not anything that we have active in our website. You really only need to stick to the cities. So what you would do is go through and actually just, if you hit your control button, you're going to be able to select a few of the cities, however many you want, of areas that you work in. Once you select the areas that you want to show up on your website, you would just click Add. Now, obviously, those aren't any that I'm working in. Well, some of them are. If there's something that you've added that you want to take out, just select it and then shove it back to the available tabs. So once you select the cities that you want to have show up on your website, you would just select OK. And that's it. Now, if I scroll down to the bottom, you can see here it is showing up in my modules that I've activated right now. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And I'm going to go to my website and click Refresh so that you can see how that's showing up on my website. Now remember, right now it's at the very bottom. And you can see here is a list of the cities that I selected, a picture if there was one available, and then a description if there was a description available as well. So I only selected to have 5 active. This is where it's really nice to have these tabs open so that now I can go back and say, well, the Elma one didn't have a picture to show up. So maybe I want to go in and, take that out because that one just didn't look as nice when it was in my list. So you're going to have the ability to really customize that a little bit more. Maybe I would go back to my settings and say that I want 6 cities to show up and not just 5. You're going to be able to customize that however you want. Now, another feature that I want to show you, you can see after you start building a lot of these modules, anytime you have a module built in your list, by default, it's always going to shove it to the bottom of the list in order that you create them. Maybe communities is something that I want to show up a little bit higher on my website. Anytime you see this little 4-sided arrow, you actually can click on it, hold your button down, and pull that tab somewhere else within your website. You can see I can move it around a little bit. Now maybe once I've built a module, I don't want it there at all. Anytime you see the red X, you can go ahead and completely take that module away. So the Communities tab, that's one of those great features that was added that's going to give you an additional 2 points. I will tell you that Community tabs can be added either in the wide column or the narrow column. You can see it's available here as well. So depending on where you want it to show up, how prominent you want it to be on your website, you're going to be able to add it in whatever column you want to make it visible. So that's one of the new features that you can add to your website as of right now. Another option that you have that will give you another 2 points is going to just be the My Listings module. And I believe that's available in the narrow column. You can see I have My Listings right here. If I select that module to activate and click Next, this will actually auto-populate based on any listings that you currently have. So if you are listing property, even if they're selling but you're replacing them with a new listing every so often, I would go ahead and activate that listing module. If you don't have any listings, nothing's going to show up there, but still keep that module active. It's going to give you an additional 2 points. So make sure that's something that you put there as well. The other new feature that we've had, some people have questioned a little bit, and I believe shows up red on your home page if you haven't activated it yet, is the custom lead generation form. So this is a really cool feature. Now you can see I've actually added it to my website. I'm going to go ahead and bring that up. If you click on the Add That feature, this is the form that's going to come up. What this is actually you have the ability to customize a contact form that will show up on your website. So treat this a little bit differently than just the regular contact form that everyone has access to on their website. Make this a little bit more specialized. Kind of a call to action for anyone that's on your website. For me, you can see I've actually customized this form, so if there's any agents out there that want to sign up for any weekly social media or tech tips, this is how they would sign up for that newsletter from me. Let me go to my website so you can see how that shows up. And there is the custom lead form that shows up on my website. So this is a really great lead capture tool as well. It's a little bit different though than just the contact me feature that's right up here in everyone's website. Make this a little more specialized. Maybe you could name your title, would you like to know what your home's worth? And then in the form description you could put contact me for a market analysis. So anytime anyone completes this form on your website, Online Office generates an email to you letting you know that someone is requesting information. So this is a great feature to use, and again is going to give you an additional 2 points towards your web score. Okay, I'm going to pause for just 1 sec and just make sure that there aren't any questions out there. It doesn't look like there are. No one's chatting. Hopefully everyone's awake and getting a lot of content from this webinar. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few other features that show up on the Build Your Homepage area. So people have asked me, how much do I need to put here? Well, honestly, the more the better. So all of these modules that you see are things that are going to show up on your website and that are actually going to get you additional points. What we would like the agents to have is a minimum of 20 modules. I know that that sounds like a lot, but I'm going to show you all of the different things that actually count towards modules on your website. So 20 modules will get you 5 points, an additional 5 points towards your web score. And for all of you that are thinking, okay, this is too many points, what's giving me what, I will actually email everyone a breakdown as well as to all of the things that we talked about and what actions will give you how many points towards your web score. Oh, looks like I have a question. Hang on 1 second here. Yep, okay, so I will definitely send out the list of points. Let's see here. Oh, okay, and then how do I connect current URL? Used to go to realtor.com to, okay, Patricia, I think I know what you're talking about. You and I will touch base after this just so that I can make sure. I think that you're talking about redirecting a URL. So you and I can talk about that afterwards. Okay, let me see here. Let's go back to the Build Your Website. So here's a few other features that are great. You can see right here, I have a Twitter feed that's actually being generated into my website. I have it linked to Coldwell Banker Ware Manual's Twitter feed. So when you go to my website, you can see down here, I've named it CBWM Tweets. And so all of the marketing tweets that the marketing department is putting out actually show up on my website. So it's a really good way to keep things new and fresh on your website on a daily basis, and you don't have to do a single thing except initially link up the Coldwell Banker Twitter site to your website. Let me see here. Okay. So a few of the other things that can show up are your blog. Hopefully all of you are at least doing 1 blog a month. Why would you want to do one blog a month? Well, one blog a month gives you 10 points towards your web score. So that's another really big thing to take advantage of. There's so many great things that you can talk about on your website that actually are real estate related, but kind of in a softer, less, screaming real estate kind of way. Another thing that I'm going to send all of you is actually a list of, I believe, 300 topics of either blogging ideas, different modules that you can add to your website. Don't think that this has to scream real estate 100% of the time. Just, please remember that, yes, you're selling houses, but where are you selling those houses? You're selling houses in communities, in neighborhoods. There's things that those communities and neighborhoods have to offer. I think it's absolutely awesome when agents talk about the local parks. Maybe you're a dog person and you know where all of the great dog parks are and what amenities those have. Maybe you are close to beaches and inland lakes. Talk about where people can go to the beach and all the amenities that are there. Maybe you have a list of the 10 best restaurants in your opinion, and maybe some cool things that are on the menu that you like to have. Those are all things that you can add to your website that still really promote community, promotes the fact that you're an expert in that area. I think that those are great things to add. So I'll send that to everyone that attended as well today. So that's going to be a great source in case you get kind of brain freeze and you're not really sure what else you can add to your website to really make it robust and add content. Let's see what else we have a question here. Okay, so the question is, if you wanted to add a slideshow including pictures, where would you recommend placing the link? Well, actually, that's a really good question because that's actually one of the new modules that's on the website itself. I could actually select Add Module. You can see here I've got Slideshow. I actually have the ability to add a slideshow to my website. So maybe this is an area that you put some of your recent solds. Maybe you have a brand new listing and you want to highlight that listing with some additional photos and make it part of your homepage. That would make any seller absolutely thrilled if they were your listing of the week or your highlighted listing. Add some things there. This is also a great place to put any of your past client photos. Maybe you have a collection of 5 or 10 photos of past clients at the closing table. That's a great thing to add as well. So you can add that module to your website and it will automatically rotate the slideshow of photos. So that's a great place to put that. Another thing I want to show you is you actually have a new module here that makes it really easy to add a YouTube video. So if you wanted to add a YouTube video to your website, this is something that can be added either to the wide column or the narrow column. If you add this module to the website and click Next, all that it's going to ask you to do is they want you to title your video, and they also just need the link to the video. That's all that they need, and it will automatically be embedded in your website. They don't have to click on anything other than the play button to be able to watch any videos that you add from YouTube. So that's a really great feature as well. So really what you need to keep in mind with the Build Your Homepage section is you want to try to have at least 20 modules active. So any of those things that you see that come up count as a module. So you want to try to have at least 20 of those modules active to get your max points for that area. And then the other thing that you really want to do, and this is a biggie, is talk. Make sure that you have words there. So the reason that we want you to actually have some type of content, not just videos, not just things for them to scroll through like pictures, is because the more words that you add to your website, those are the more words that Google and all those search engines actually have to be able to go through to find you. So we actually do reward you with 15 points, which is huge, if you have more than 100 words of content in your modules. So that's combined. So out of those 20 modules that you have, just put some words there. Go ahead and put some content there so that all of the search engines have something to go through, and you're going to have a higher likelihood of being found if someone is searching for you or an agent in this area on Google or something along those lines. So make sure that you put as much as possible there. Okay, I am going to go ahead and go to the next tab, which is the Add More Pages tab. So this one seems to be a little bit confusing for some people as well, and rightfully so, because they don't know where these are showing up on their website. So now here's another point option here. If you activate at least one additional page, that's going to be another 2 points. So make sure you put another page here. So right here I have local schools, my favorite places to eat, and local chambers. So these are things that I've added all by myself. I don't have any content there because I've used them as examples, but if you go to my website and if I scroll to the very top, you can see right here, that's where those additional pages show up. So right here, maybe I had a list of all of the local schools in the area that I served. Someone would be able to actually just click on that link, and here they would have a list of all the local schools. Again, I've used this as an example, so I don't really have anything in these, but this just kind of gives you an idea of other things that you can add and put in your website to, again, just have more content, more resources. You want to try to have as much as possible so that you're kind of a one-stop shop, so that any of your potential clients or your customers, they don't have to look at 10 websites to find all of the information that you should be able to give them in one nice, clean website and package. So make sure that you're activating at least one of those pages. And when I send you that list of 300 plus topics and things that you can talk about, very quickly you're going to be able to see all of the other content that you can make sure that you give to anyone that comes to your website. So that one is pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to go ahead and go to the Select Your Area tab. Now, what this does is basically just lets you highlight the area that you serve. You can see mine is fairly big, only because I've, number one, been messing with it a little bit. But all that you have to do is go ahead and move that box to the area that you service. You can go ahead and really get detailed if you want. I would keep it somewhat broad. Don't be, a 5-mile radius, because hopefully you're working outside of that 5-mile radius, and you actually want to still open up your opportunity for referrals as well. But make sure that you go in this area. 2 points are possible here. So make sure you go in there and highlight what area you're in so that you can make sure that anytime people are doing searches that you're going to be able to service those areas that they're searching for. We have a question here. Okay, a question was, can you recommend a few CBWM realtors that have created websites, impressive websites? Yeah, actually I do have a few, and I'll be happy to provide their names so that you can take a peek and look through some of the other agents that have kind of went above and beyond and created some different topics and things for their websites as well. So the last tab that I'm going to go ahead and click on is the Create a Search Profile. So this is another biggie, and people don't necessarily know where this is showing up. So where this shows up, I'm going to go ahead and open up a new tab, and I'm just going to go to CBWM.com. So this part is very important. This area allows you to actually give a really quick snippet as to who you are, maybe some of the services that you provide. Maybe you do specialize in leases, or maybe you do specialize in relocation. These are the things that you want to specialize, to specify here, so that if someone is searching for an agent and they use one of the search functions in Coldwell Banker's website, they actually, and I'm going to pick on Stephanie because guess what, Stephanie, you're right at the top. If I click on Stephanie, right here in this blank area down here is where anything that Stephanie would type here would show up. So should she put something like, been a resident of the community for 10 plus years, active in whatever it might be, so that you can show that you're an expert, contact me. Again, you don't need to put things like phone number or website, because you can see all of that is still showing up here in Stephanie's snapshot. But if there's anything that she wants to grab someone's attention, she can put it there. She could link them out to another website if she wanted to. She could maybe, put some testimonials there. Those would be great things to put. You're really not limited to the things that you put in that field. Just basically think of something that would grab your attention if you were looking for an agent, and make sure that you put that information there. Don't ever be worried, scared by, how you have to type in these areas. Pretty much it's like a Word document. If I was Stephanie and I wanted to put some of my areas of expertise, I might use some of the bullet functions so that I could actually list a number of things that I wanted to show up under my profile search for anyone that actually found me on CBWM.com. They could see some of the things that I specialize in. Okay, so I see a few other people have asked for a breakdown as to the points. Absolutely, I promise you that hopefully within the next hour or so, any of you that have attended the webinar today, I will go ahead and provide you with a few things. You're going to get, yes, a list of what equals what when it comes to adding different features in your website and how many points you're going to get. I also will provide you with that list of 300 plus ideas for blogging topics, some of the different module topics that you could add to your website. I'll provide you with that as well. I'm also going to provide you with those instructions on how to customize your LinkedIn so that you can link it up with Online Office for your website. And then I think someone asked for a few different agent profile pages to look at to kind of see some different things that you could add there. You guys are always welcome to go to mine, which is CBWM.com, and then it's the / R. Walker. I am usually updating this on a weekly basis only because I find different things that I can add there. And actually for you guys as agents, I do put some different training topics here. You can see I just added some Google resources for agents. Maybe if you're having a hard time linking it up to your iPhone or your Android, or maybe you want to learn how to use Google Calendar, I always put some new content on there as well, so that you can go there for training options as well. Okay, Don asked for a search profile active we may see. Good question. You know what? Let's see here if I can find an agent that actually has one filled in. Well, you can see here's Wendy Martin. She actually just put your dream home, my goal. So she would have added that in her profile area. Let's see here. Let's go back and see if there's anyone else. Oh, so here's a good one. Kevin, who is one of our Hop Out agents in the Greenville office, he actually put quite a bit of information here. So here's a good example to look at. So you can see he put some different information there. And the only way that someone sees that is by actually clicking on the actual agent themselves. So that's a good spot to put some additional information. Okay, well, I think that that is probably about it for all of the different things that you can do for the new website. We're going on about 50 minutes, so that's probably a long enough webinar for today. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call, email me. Email is rwalker@cbwm.com. And again, I will go ahead and get all of that information out to you ASAP today so that you guys can start building your websites and really making them robust and getting as many points as you possibly can. So hope everyone has a great Wednesday, and I will talk to you all soon. Thanks, guys.